Sunday the 26th of June 2022, Trinity 2. We're on that long road through the summer when the church turns green. We're looking at Luke chapter 9. Your business is life is what we're sort of calling it. Some news first. June, July and August, locally, there's a rota out that just shows the kind of regular pattern of worship we've gone back into. It doesn't necessarily show you who is taking the services. There's another rota, you can see that if you really want to, that shows myself and Glenda and other people in the ministry area moving around a little bit to take services for the summer. September, we might experiment a little bit with this ministry area and think about maybe a monthly ministry area service. How exciting will that be? And the reason is there is a broad plan taking shape, which we can now tell you about. We did plan to just sort of roll to the end of the year with us 4 vicars, continuing to look after our own quarters. But Reverend Julian and Reverend Suzanne moving on, suddenly we thought, right, whoa, this is going faster than we thought. And so there is a broad plan in place, which we're working towards, built upon these specific points. Here we go. We cannot, sadly, afford to replace 2 stipendiary priests straight away. It's just highlighted there is real financial trouble in parts of the ministry area. To that end, we're working to have Reverend Glenda as ministry area curate, like she's now, but living in Wymondham. She'll finish her training in the ministry area, but living in Wymondham in a church house, not her own house in Bridgend now as she does. We hope then that she can stay on as a member of the team after that, as a self-supporting minister in that same clergy house. We will, sometime later this year, appoint a brand new stipendiary full-time priest. They'd be based in Brinkethin, where Reverend Suzanne lives. There is a joke going round behind the scenes that Robert De Niro is coming. That is not true. I mean, I can ask him, but I don't think he's ordained, actually, just because of the picture I put on the slide. And the idea is that the priests and Mark will minister all across the ministry area, but be a presence where they live. I'll be a presence here. Reverend Roger will be a presence where he lives. Reverend New Person will be a presence in Brinkethin, and Glenda, as we say, would be a priestly presence as she supports herself living in Wymondham. So that is kind of a broad, exciting plan. And for all of us, listen out for what God is saying. We're putting this jigsaw together as a ministry area committee, but we're asking you, in your prayer times, if God is whispering things to you, let us know that we can feed those in. Like I said, we're going to be bringing the ministry area together later this year for joint services. But in the meantime, go visit another church maybe, or the ministry area shop, or say hello if other people come and worship with you. We're one big, huge Christian family across the world, and we can sometimes forget about that. But we're being made to stop and think now with this ministry area about the Christian family we are with the 10 churches. So, prayerfully help us with this rebuilding. Remember as well, we're going to keep doing these pieces to camera for as long as is feasible, because we know some people aren't comfortable or able to come back to the church building. So we want to keep you included. If you want the text of what we say, ask Judy. She will get that to you. We're trying to meet you wherever you are, and never be afraid to ask and keep in contact in whatever way you can. Okay? Right, back to today, Luke chapter 9. Let me read it to you, and then a little thought for you. When it came close to the time for his ascension, he gathered up his courage and steeled himself for a journey to Jerusalem. He sent messengers on ahead. They came to a Samaritan village to make arrangements for his hospitality. But when the Samaritans learned that his destination was Jerusalem, they refused hospitality. When the disciples, James and John, learned of it, they said, "Master, do you want us to call a bolt of lightning down out of the sky and incinerate them?" Jesus turned on them, "Of course not," and they travelled on to another village. On the road, somebody asked if he could go along. "I'll go with you wherever," he said. Jesus was curt. "Are you ready to rough it? We're not staying in the best inns, you know." Jesus said to another, "Follow me." He said, "Certainly, but first excuse me for a couple of days. I have to make arrangements for my father's funeral." Jesus refused. "First things first, your business is life, not death, and life is urgent. Announce God's kingdom." Then another said, "I'm ready to follow you, Master, but first excuse me while I get things straightened out at home." Jesus said, "No procrastination, no backward looks. You can't put God's kingdom off till tomorrow. Seize the day." This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. What did you make of that? Here's my thought. Some phrases then cut straight from the gospel reading, okay? Phrase number 1, there's 3 of them. "I'll go with you wherever." Phrase 2, "Follow me." And phrase 3, "I'm ready to follow you, Master, but first excuse me while I get things straightened out at home." These 3 phrases are parts of 3 short, sort of snippety conversations that Jesus has. "I'll go with you wherever." Jesus then talks about not staying in the best places. Jesus was really saying that he had no home on earth now, and so he was in the hands of others. He was in the hands of his Father and others who would provide hospitality, whatever. I.e., follow me, whatever, is what Jesus is saying. That phrase, that conversation is saying. Second one then, follow me. Jesus says this to a man, and the man replies, "First let me go and arrange the funeral of my father." In Jesus' day, you buried people quite quickly. Then a year later, you dug up their bones and moved them. Apparently, this chap, what the clever people say, wanted a year off, not wanting to follow now. And Jesus is sort of saying, "Follow me now." Yeah. And then the third kind of sort of tete-a-tete, we call it, snippet, little conversation. "I'm ready to follow you, Master, but first excuse me while I get things straightened out at home." This was another, response here. And family is really important. They brought you up, they got you on your way, but your relationship with Jesus must supersede that. Jesus first. What Jesus is saying here is, follow me first. Okay? Bang, 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 Is that a bit harsh of Jesus to demand these 3 things? Bang, bang, bang. Follow me, whatever, first thing he's saying. Follow me now, is what he's saying. And follow me first. It certainly looks harsh, doesn't it? Really powerful stuff. But let's come at it another way and see if it really is, okay? Try this. Think of the best human characteristics you can. What would be good human traits to have? Go on, give you a minute. What are the best character traits, traits of being a human that you think would be good for you to have? And then, once you've got those there, think about the ones that Jesus had. Think about Jesus. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. You can't argue that Jesus had all of these things. You can see it in his life, can't you? Now, those traits of Jesus, do they sound like traits that you would want? You've done that little bit of thinking about a couple of good human traits. I suggested to you the ones of Jesus. Would you want the full package that Jesus offers? I know I would. Well, here is the sermon in one line. If you follow Jesus, he will grow in you those traits that he has. He will grow in you the traits that he has. But it's an all or nothing thing, you know. The deal is you have to follow him whatever. You have to follow him now. You have to follow him first. Then you will find life in all its fullness and those characteristics. It's harsh, but you can't let anything else get in the way. And that's what the disciples were learning today. There you are. Something to think about. Something to think about. You and your relationship with Jesus. How much do you want it? Yeah. 4 questions. Again, a bit bang, 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 but it's a kind of passage. Number 1, what do you make of conversation 1? That's what Jesus ends up saying, whatever. Conversation 2, question 2, sorry. What do you make of conversation 2? That's the one where Jesus says, now. Number 3, what do you make of conversation 3? Jesus is saying, first. And question 4, do you think the first line of this passage hints at the strength of Jesus' words? What's the context? What's that first line saying? Do you think that is why Jesus is quite strong in this passage? Number 4, do you think the first line of this passage hints at the strength of Jesus' words? Yeah. There we are. Can you ever think about those? Chat to me, Glenda, whenever you want about those, if you want to. Some songs, a song. An obvious song comes to mind when we're thinking about priorities, about a Christian walk, about Jesus. Seek ye first. We sing this, yeah? We know this, we love this, but do we do this? Seek ye first, yeah? I'll put that on at the end for you. Let's bring this time together to an end with a prayer. Hands together, close your eyes. I'll pray us out. Dear God, thank you that when we dig into some of the harsh things Jesus appears to have said, we find that he's just asking us to be completely committed to him as he is already for us. Help us to give our all the time. Amen. Amen. There we are, team. A thought for you for this week. You keep safe. I'll see you whenever I see you. Keep in touch as we go through